Chisambama.
Jesus, I slapped it hard this time.
Slap sounds like a plan.
Yo. Slap! Slap! No. Sounds like a podcast. Hey.
Sounds like a podcast. I like that. Hey. Isn't somebody sharp today? And you can tell who's dressed warm on a warm day and who's dressed cool on a warm day.
No, I'm visiting the tanga, my man. It's very, very, very hot. The visit tanga. This is an invite to all the thirsty girls out there. I got legs.
And all the thirsty guys out there.
All of them. Hey, thirsty guys. Zwagaland.
As long as you click and subscribe.
We're in Cape Town, by the way. Let me raise your levels a little bit because it looks like you're a little bit low.
Raise my levels.
And then you make a noise. Now that whole exercise was futile.
My levels.
Welcome to it. Episode 3 of I almost said the dojo.
Episode 3, Attack of the Clones.
Episode 3 of the EasyJust podcast with myself, Obakeng Moroe, and my main man,
Kwanda
Dokes.
AKA Mr. Dickies on the chest.
Yes, sir. The big
AKA
D on the chest.
Mr. Dickies in the pants.
Just said big D on the chest.
Yeah, I like it. That's all right. I'll take it.
Yeah, man. Again.
As long as it's my big D on my chest.
Yeah, pause. For me, for that one.
Yeah, as long as it's nobody else.
I don't want to know anything about D's on your chest, though, man. Besides the top, which is a very dope top, I don't want to know anything about...
Put some D's on that bitch.
Welcome to it again, man. Also, thanks to everybody that's supporting episode 1 and episode 2, which by the time you see this would have dropped already. And now we're working on SABC 3, episode 3, and the reception so far.
There won't be an SABC 3.
Yeah,
the way things are going.
Yeah, there'll just be 3 at the SABC. But the response has been overwhelming and really, really amazing from all of y'all. So thank you for that, man.
Gratitude.
At least it's not like it's very refreshing and to see that people are supporting the shit that we do.
And we have heard the messages. We know that the first one was very, very long. We're gonna try and keep them down to an hour. But if the conversation goes, the conversation goes. You don't really have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch the whole thing in one go. And don't not take care of your children because you're watching the podcast.
Exactly.
That is like the only reason we will allow for you to not watch the whole episode of the podcast.
Yes.
Go take care of your children.
Feed your children.
Please.
Fuck your partner. That kind of thing.
Do everything.
Do the dishes. All those things. But just don't have sex while listening to us at the background, because that's kind of weird. You're bringing us into your situation. But also if the conversation is dope,
speaks for himself.
Do you want them to be doing that shit?
We are two totally different people.
What? EasyJust now all of a sudden becomes an aphrodisiac for these people. Yo, nah.
Look, if it works, we are glad to be of service.
Next thing, we're gonna be sponsored by
Durex condoms.
Durex condoms. Blue Chew.
Viagra.
We're out here.
Trust.
Promoting serious, good sex life for people that listen to the podcast in the background while having sex. That's what's up.
Hey, man. If people at Vitality can do it, why can't we?
True the fuck out of that. Anyway, man. Interesting week that we've had, actually. And rest in peace to one of the greatest on the Kwaito microphone. We lost a legend. We lost Cortez in Binge. We lost Mshoza. Rest in peace, Mshoza.
Rest in peace, Mshoza.
Man.
Go Bashayi Pity. Oh, Pity. Yo, Pity. Shayi Pity. Yo, Pity.
Dance. Aina Koras. That was my jam.
Come on.
That was my jam.
Mshoza was a beast, yo.
No def.
Props due where props are due, man.
No
Mshoza
damn
was
doubt.
a beast.
No damn doubt. And
Abantu bam laba.
funny enough,
I
I always because you're more of a quite a connoisseur than I am. I always remember Mshoza songs when they play. I never remember that's a Mshoza song. Besides Cortez, I mean, obviously Cortez, everybody knows Cortez.
And PT, because PT was also a big hit.
Was big as well. And then there was Aina Koras is recent. It's like
Aina Koras Abantu Bam Laba is also recent.
Abantu Bam is recent.
Yeah,
is it?
Quite recent. Well, I mean, not as recent, but I actually don't remember anything between Upiti. No, Abantu Bam Laba.
Yeah.
I don't know what was in between that, but I feel like, I remember something was between that. What was that song called now? Shabalinget.
Yes.
Shabalinget.
It looks like some shit that I don't know. I don't remember that one though.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh man, that was
It sounds like a fucking jam.
It was a banger. It was a banger. I mean, of course, it was a song that insinuated sex.
Of course, how?
Shabalinge and Ucha. And I mean, what is a good Kwaito
this
song
is
if it doesn't
this is
insinuate
Kwaito.
sex? Eh? Halagasha.
Mina ngamshova umntana umshove mina ngamshova umntana we were all but I was actually listening to I was listening to that to what's this TKZ earlier on Tokola specifically that number one Tsotsi.
Oh yeah.
There's a part where you literally says Paramiso 7 Mauna Mabel. I'm like
exactly.
But still talking about Mshoza, man. She is one woman that really brought it and elevated the Kwaito game in a major way.
Yeah.
And I think we don't acknowledge our ladies, especially in the Kwaito scene, man. We don't acknowledge them as much as we should because there's a lot of them that played such a pivotal role in all these songs that we love, and I think we don't give them enough props. We know obviously
only one person I would say that's a female in Kwaito that really got her props. I think it's only Lebu
Matosa.
Only Lebu Matosa. I think everybody else didn't really get the props the way that they should have in the game. Even with Tembi is a legend, man. Legend in her own right,
Tembi is a legend.
And I can understand how maybe it might have been tough for her to get the recognition, probably because she's in a group with Ulebu Matos. But definitely Tembi one of the greats, one of
Let's
the
not forget KB, who also actually mentioned she left Kwaito at some point, but KB was in Crowded Crew. Remember, she was in Crowded Crew.
Yes, she was in Crowded Crew, and then she came back on Backstage.
Yes.
And then had really, really nice song. I'm trying to think of my favorite song of KB. I actually have it. But I forgot the name of the song now.
It's not a Kwaito song specifically. I think that time she was already doing like that.
It was very groovy. She reminded me of Sharon D in a way.
Sharon D, that's another one. I wonder if she ever copyrighted Local as Lekker, because she actually made
Local
that.
as Lekker. Actually, that was her.
That was her.
Exactly, yo.
That's the KB song you're looking for is Mamo Sadi Wala. Remember that song? That was like her biggest song.
Yes, I think that's the one.
With a very fucked up video.
But isn't there a part isn't there a catchier part? Or I don't know, maybe it's just your singing.
That's the one. Fuck off.
I just remember a very catchier part to the song that I'm thinking of. Beautiful woman, KB.
Yo, yes. I've met her in person once.
Oh my goodness, were you able to speak?
Yes, I tried.
What did you say?
Stand there and pose.
So you were at work actually.
I was at work.
I see.
Yes, hand on the waist. That's what I said to her. Type. But she's actually pretty cool, man. Astwana people were cool as fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah. Astwana people, Kiabis is very cool. Like, we go way back.
Yeah, no.
No, but when I was still working at ETV, I did a marketing shoot for one of the Rhythm City episodes. I used to go there up there quite a lot. And then I'd meet all the Rhythm City cast. I've met a lot of them, not like a lot of the main cast. Let me put it that way. But that was like then. This is 5-6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's a while ago. But I can safely say I met KB. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you that man. I can tell you now that was probably worth it, bro. Beautiful woman,
and gifted as well vocally. You know what I mean? Very
amazing,
gifted,
amazing
very
actor
gifted.
also.
What else was there? I'm trying to think of the ladies. I mean, we mentioned Sharon D, who should have copyrighted E-Local as Lekker. Imagine how much money she would have made. Imagine, because that phrase became very popular immediately after that song.
I mean, everybody uses it, from corporates when they're trying to sell South African products, whether it's the government trying to tell you to be more patriotic, whether it's a music show when they're talking about we're going to go from international acts to local acts. It is a term that is used. It's like it's
a South African. It's like Rainbow Nation, basically.
It's like Rainbow Nation,
basically.
Yeah, it's actually up there.
There was another lady as well who she became popular at the time when Arthur was still running things. Remember Queen from she was in the 999 vibe. Man.
She was Queen was part of
Abashanti, yes.
Queen. She was the lead singer.
Another group that was basically female headstrong. There was the one guy though that did the vocals. The
Yes, 2 guys actually.
was it 2?
No, not 2 at the same time.
Just fixing my tangas there.
2 at different time. Yeah, and we don't want to show something to the customers.
You know what I mean?
That there was one guy at first who was a very reggae guy. And then there was another guy again. Even Uthingi at the time also was part of Abashanti at one time. The guy that died of a Kwaito artist.
That died of HIV, I think.
Yes, that died of HIV. Uzombo.
Zombo was a beast,
Zombo
man.
was the second guy. There was a guy that was before.
Before him, yes, I remember.
Girls, come and dance.
That's the guy I was thinking.
Come and
of.
dance. That was the guy.
I was thinking about him, and then Zombo came, and Zombo killed it, man. I think there was a like proper replacement.
Yes, he was dope. He was like
And
one of
then-
the early Kwaito artists. I
And
mean,
then
hip hop artists.
those two like bald girls in Abashanti, were they just dancers, like, or what was going on actually there?
But dancing for Abashante was not just dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that they weren't singing and had to focus on dancing. Because Boom Shaga on this side
Yay!
was vongozing the waist. They were like if we were to attach like some diodes or some electric,
my guy.
dynamos or something to their waist, we could produce electricity.
Baba, that's the answer for load shedding. Like,
Exactly.
Leboma Twaza's waist.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Tembi's
energy
waist.
that she generates from moving up, and Tembi's, you're right.
Add
From
a dynamo
moving that,
there.
my guy.
We
my
are
guy.
powering up the country.
The whole thing, my sister used to wake up in the morning. I kid you not, bro. Like when this song, It's About Time was still like a super hit. She'd wake up in the morning and she'd stand like in front of the TV and practice that,
And try to do the thing with the leg.
Now I'm showing my legs and doing the thing.
That was the one. That was the
Fuck, this
one.
thing is stopped
With the
recording.
Doc
but
Martens,
we'll,
man,
we'll
yeah?
We'll still keep it running.
When Doc Martens were cool the first time around.
All of that. I never had a pair actually.
Me neither. I will never have a pair, actually.
Yeah, they try to bring them back, and then the screw kids.
Are they back, Vele? But you must understand that Boom Shaka at the time were the screw kids.
Yeah, ne?
Yeah.
To be quite honest, my sister had that whole. She was always decked out that way. Like when
like that at the time.
the whole time, and the whole box braids, the long box braids,
The Brat inspired,
all of them stuff. You know what I mean? And those things that they put on the necks.
The things
that
that are
shit.
like the
Chokers
like,
of some sort.
Yes, I see those things.
Yeah,
I forget what they.
My sister used to back home. They used to call him D Whitney.
D Whitney.
Yeah, from Whitney Houston. Because,
I know what they call.
Because way back in the day, Whitney Houston used to wear that shit.
Yeah. They called Whitney's.
Fuck off. They called them D-Whitney back then, man. But anyway,
Mshoza. We're actually talking about Mshoza.
We are actually talking about Mshoza, but yeah, man, open doors for like
really open doors.
Yeah, man.
Who filled her shoes? Nobody filled her shoes.
No, because like,
Purity tried.
Yeah, Purity.
Nestam tried. Okay, Nestam didn't really sing. Hey,
Nestam did like a rapping Kwaito thing. I didn't understand. She was trying to rap in the Kwaito space.
She wasn't officially in Abashanti.
What? No, wasn't she?
She was.
She was officially in Abashanti.
She was officially in Abashanti. Because at one point Abashanti was the Bold Girls, Zombo, and Queen and Nestam. And Nestam did try to do the rapping thing there, and that's just Arthur not being original at all. I mean, but okay, we know.
She released a song once. I forgot what the name of the song was.
An entire song by herself.
Yeah, by herself.
Where she was just rapping. I didn't know that.
On a Kwaito-ish beat, like a beat that sounded like what Cleo would have produced back in the day. Remember when Cleo was still doing things for Obrix?
One of the most versatile producers
fam.
in the history of South African music.
Yeah. So it was a beat that sounded like a Cleo production, but I'm not sure if it was. The song became popular because it was Nestam, you know what I mean?
And she was on Jam Alley, which was the biggest show in the country.
But she went on to do radio. So she's a host. She's a I don't know if she still works there. A host at City
A host, you mean?
Yeah, a host.
Okay.
What the fuck was I saying?
No. That's no. You said host.
Host. Yeah, she was a radio host at City FM. I don't know if she's still there, but she's out there. doing the radio hosting work as a sort of kena nesta mo le sedi FM o mamedzi re tlo bapalla re tlo bapalla kana ho ke ma Mino wa kwaito. You know how those people speak, Mshoza. I don't know why. Mino wa kwaito mo le sedi FM. She's out there.
So that is to say, Mshoza was actually never replaced then.
No, I don't think so. But also, yeah, she was.
Maybe Abo Rouge today and Abo Gigi Lemaine or whatever.
Nah, that's a
but before that era, there was actually nobody that really was her direct competition, you know?
No, and I can't remember anybody, especially in the Kwaito space, because I mean, we didn't really even have hip hop at the time as a proper industry.
No, I just mean a female Kwaito artist.
No, there wasn't
another. I mean, I even think of she tried to break somebody out on that song. Pete, yo, Pete is shy, because she was featuring a young girl on that song. I want to tattoo burn them Mshoza pause, but there was another lady on there, and I guess she was supposed to be part of the whole Bulldogs movement and the young girls or whatever. But Naya, she couldn't really fill Mshoza's shoes. I wonder what happened to that girl. Actually, I actually don't know what her name was. I wish I could shout her out.
It sucks that tends to happen, especially when women are trying to get into that space. There will be somebody that's almost.
Do you think that was the cause? Because I mean, Msawawa managed to come out almost catapulted by Mzambia, but this girl didn't seem to come out catapulted by Mshoza.
Well, yeah. I think also because Umsawa, much as he was a kid, he was still a dude.
He was a star.
He was a star. I'm just saying. Look, there are many more artists that men that had fruitful careers and that were catapulted by somebody else or whatever, and then they managed to get into the frame. I'm just speaking, since we're talking about Mshoza specifically, I'm just saying women in that space, there was so few, and I wonder why is that? Is it a gatekeepers thing? Is it because maybe women are not just showing up, or is it that whole adage about Kwaito and music as a whole has always been like a boys' game?
I think it's because of because it's not like that in pop music. It's not like that in classical music. It's not like that in country music. Or like I don't know. I don't really listen to other kinds of music except maybe one could call that white people music. No? Yeah, because I mean, Bakang I think is actually almost a little bit balanced because you'll find one guy on the guitar and 4 women.
Yeah. I love me some Bakang. Can Mapuza Kemise had that song, yeah, come on.
Uthingivi abheka inkomo zam sebenzile uma muya ndithuka uthingivi.
There was another popular one. Imbizo. Anjalo nje na khona
That's a jam, man. Some of the most successful artists in the country in that genre right there.
He was in trouble not too long ago.
I was gonna say the reason why I think it's that energy that comes from Kwaito and hip hop specifically. Yeah. I think that's the kind of music that we're talking about now. And the difference between like the country music and the pops and the classics and hip hop and Kwaito is that it comes from a certain perspective of black aggression because it's going against the grain all the time. It's always something people aren't used to. It always has to create a lane for itself. There aren't categories to put it into. And so I think that aggression that comes with it means that it's not as appealing to women unless they're coming with that aggression themselves, which we know that Mshoza kind of came with because Mshoza bepanzula, Mshoza was like lipanzula, no. And the name, the term Mshoza is icheri epanzula.
Serious? Yeah. I never knew what Mshoza meant.
Yeah, so that's what it means. If we icheri epanzula, then Mshoza. And so you won't find a whole lot of because it's I mean it's gender different, if I could say it like that. It's somebody acting out of their role that we'd expect of them.
Yeah.
And so in that way, Mshoza actually broke down a lot of boundaries in how we expect people to act and how we can accept that they act.
That is so true. And because in that phrase as well, and it's the same thing that happened to hip hop, when you did kind of act out of pocket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The acceptance wasn't always as great as when you became the typical hypersexualized version of an artist. Like Lebo Matos, I mean, we love her, she's amazing, but also her act became very much hypersexualized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With
But
like,
I mean, if you got it, flaunt it.
yeah, no.
If you got it, use it.
Of course.
In the end, Mshoza did.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Did it really work for her though? I don't think so.
I think it was happening in a time when Obakeng Moroe were bleaching themselves. So
people
there was
were
a
so
lot
savage.
happening, I think, in terms of your imagery, there's social media. So I think in the time when she was coming into her own in that way, a lot was happening, and it wasn't, and I don't know, I mean, it would have been very interesting to see how Lebo Mathosa would have looked if she was alive today. I would have been very interested to see how Brenda Fassie would have been if she was alive today.
Brenda Fassie would have been like God status, man. Like, I see Brenda Fassie she would have been like our...
But she also had her problems, you know, that,
of course,
that
of
always
course.
threatened to not maybe just
Of course. I mean,
end her career,
I think
but end her life, I think
she
maybe
would
in
have been
some
like
instances.
our, like Aretha Franklin sort of, you
You
know...
think so? 'Cause Aretha Franklin...
like, in terms of status, man, I think because she was such a prolific character.
Yeah.
And yes, she had her problems, and we knew all of that. But then her music was so potent, and it became such a big fabric of South African culture. Like, she is very much entrenched in South African culture, and you
True.
can't deny
True.
that. You know what I
True.
mean? I think she would have earned that kind of accolade, or like a Nina Simone type of, like a Hugh Masekela type of, like a Dorothy Masuka type of.
She's definitely up there.
You know what I'm saying?
She's
That
definitely-
kind
she's
of.
definitely Madonna for me.
Yeah.
She's like you know, like Madonna. When if I'd have to pick between two performances, I'd pick Brenda Fassie every day. Because of her character. You know?
Have you seen her perform live? Did you see her perform live?
No.
I saw her perform live once in Bloemfontein back in the day when Makufe was still a proper show before they ran it to the ground.
Yeah. They were like Makufe. Makufe yonke into Makufe. Killed the fucking show. Makufe.
Yeah, if I don't get
Did it stop?
no, it's still going on. It's still going on. She gave a very, very powerful performance that, man, I can still remember it till today. I really can still remember it till today. It was such a powerful, she owned the stage, you know? She owned the stage properly. She really did. And I only saw her perform once, and it's like it's one of the performances that I'll like remember for. There was this one time where she ran from one side of the stage, and I think it was with a dancer or something. The dancer was on one side of the stage. She ran and she jumped onto the dude, held onto him with her legs, and started twerking.
I see. Eish. No, but she was a performer and a half.
No, it's that she was, man. That she was. She did her things. And
in fact, I'll ask you a question quickly. What song do you think is the biggest ever in South Africa's history? I think Vulindlela.
You think?
It's definitely a candidate.
I think Weekend Special, man. I think Weekend Special is much bigger.
Do you
than
think
Vulindlela.
Weekend Special is bigger than Vulindlela?
Yeah, everybody knows Weekend Special. Even white people know Weekend Special.
But everybody knows Vulindlela too.
A lot of black people know Vulindlela, but Weekend Special, everybody knows it. Like, white people know. In terms of it being big in South Africa, everybody knows that song. Everybody knows it. White
Ngalagata,
people know it.
do you think it's bigger than Ngalagata?
I think yes. Ngalagata, well, I don't think Ngalagata is as iconic. Let me put it
Leave
this
white
way.
people in Ngalagata, ne? Just think Ngalagata before.
I don't think
Before it used to
Ngalagata,
play after 6 runs at a cricket
yes.
match.
No, I know that, but I don't think Ngalagata.
Ngalagata was
huge. No, it was a huge song, but I don't think it's as iconic as
Weekend Special.
As Weekend Special.
For me, I have to agree with you in the end also, because Weekend Special actually came out so early for it to be in the conversation. Actually.
Yes, because that's
the other two
80s
songs
song.
are in like a similar era, while Weekend Special hold, quite strong, and it was, I think, released in the 80s.
Let's pause it real quick here because you see, this is what I was trying to avoid because the thing. We'll pick it up right about now. You're still with us here, EasyJust Podcast with myself, Obakeng Moroe, and Kwanda and Ndoda. I'm back at it again, EasyJust Podcast. Obakeng Moroe, Kwanda and Ndoda.
Sutindu.
Yep. That thing is actually starting to become such an integral part of the show. What were we talking about? We were talking about
the biggest song in South Africa's history, and you had your money on Weekend Special, and I put to you Vulindlela, or if not Vulindlela, Unkalakata, original Unkalakata, not the remix. White people, there is a remix.
There's a remix?
Yeah, there's a remix to Unkalakata. I see. I have a white person right next to me. You I
don't remember the remix of Ngalagata at all.
Pop, pop, para, pop, 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 para, pop.
You're not doing justice to this.
Nah, I'll have to play the song for you.
No. I'll have to
It was big.
It was probably work.
It's actually so dope.
Was it dope?
Like so mellow.
Was it chilled?
It's on like
no.
How can I say mashamplan, relaxed kind of, if you know that kind of tempo.
I just remember the Ngalagata that sounded like a hijacking was just about to happen.
Mashamplan.
No.
That's the one. The remix is like the opposite of that. It's like it's one of those mellow Mshoza songs. If you know Mshoza quite well, you know that he's got the hard songs then he's got like the mellow songs that you don't expect in an album that shows you the depth of his character.
Yeah, and funny enough, I was actually listening to Skellige Focus the other day. You know what I mean? But closing that one off, I'm still saying
DJ Cleo.
Was that a Cleo production? This is the DJ Cleo production.
That was DJ Cleo.
Yeah, man. But I still say King. Weekend Special is a bigger song. But rest in peace, Mshoza. We spoke about you at length, and we this conversation, we included so many things about Kwaito and about the history of
and about black women. They power when it comes to our culture, and driving it forward. And I'm just that, at least now, I still think obviously we still need a lot more women in this space, but at least so many women are claiming and owning their space. True.
And and becoming such big acts on their own and it's such a marvel to see, man. You know what I mean? We have the likes of one of my favorite artists now, Ubusi Swa. We have so many people, man. We have
Midnight Staring was Busi's,
yeah. We have so many people. Oh, DJ Zinhle, we're talking about
amazing things.
I was talking about DJ Zinhle earlier on, who is a mogul herself.
Amazing.
From her music to DJ school to
the drink,
the drink
Strawberry
to
Lips.
The watch. She has a watch.
I didn't know she had a watch.
She had a watch thing going on. DJ Zinhle watches, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I think she has fashion at like a label of some sort, like a apparel.
She must have apparel, even if it's like apparel. A niche apparel thing, Like nowadays, when you have apparel, it doesn't have to be like Sean John, it doesn't. You don't have to be able to get it at every
old
store.
As fuck, eh? You just said Sean John. Damn,
Sean John, nigga. Yo. At least I didn't say Fat Farm.
Or kind of there was that other one. Hey, remember when Echo was still a hip hop label before it became a bouncer label?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
man. But rest in peace to Mshoza.
Rest in peace to Vmash also, eh?
Yes. You said we lost Vmash this year.
I think we lost her about April this year or March this year. She passed away. Legend. Now when I say legend of South African television, past Abo Dosto, past Abo Nimrod, past Abo... Who are some great presenters? The Togo guy. I don't even know what his name was.
That was Dosto no.
No. Dosto was a bald guy.
Yes, he was also the Togo guy. On Selima Twins?
No, there was but that guy had dreadlocks.
You're talking about Brown.
Brown.
Yeah, okay.
Past Brown. No, I'm just trying to think of legendary producers from back at that time.
Oh, okay.
Who couldn't even see Vinolia in terms of energy and vibe.
My guy.
The Jam Ellie is a bow wow.
Yeah,
the Jam Ellie is a bow wow.
Whoa,
come on, man.
Vinolia Mashiro is responsible for the perfect phrase. You know it, Mos. Middle center. Eh?
Middle center,
Baba.
Middle center.
Top right or middle center. Oh, today you get a gem blaster.
You get a gem. And when you came all the way from Joburg, from Tabaj, all you get is chocolate.
Gem blaster.
And that Jamali chocolate was fire.
Sorry.
Boom. Yeah, man.
Such an iconic show, man. Such an iconic show.
Iconic show, but do you think it ever would have reached those levels of being iconic if it wasn't for the energy of Uvinolia.
Hell no.
You know,
Vinolia
Nimrod was
owned that
okay,
show.
but Uvinolia was like the Jay-Z of if that show was Rockefeller.
My guy, we are still using phrases from that show till today. And this was a show that was what, in the 90s?
In the 90s, yeah. Maybe in the early 2000s was the last of it.
Yeah.
Spiwa was there in the late 2000s.
Yes. We are still using phrases from Jam Alley, and it hasn't been on television since whatever, how long ago? Years, more than 20 years, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
how
what
many
I mean?
artists broke out? You know, the first time Sawawa came out of a duffel bag on Jam Alley, you know? Remember that shit? How crazy it was, like, a foot! Guy, a foot came out first out of a duffel bag.
Came out like a Togolosh.
You know? Came out like a mandla.
Pumagati Togolosh. Busy tongue. I'm sure it's busy tongue.
That's crazy.
It was madness. It was mad. Also, Proverb did his thing there. Yeah. There's a video of it always comes up in the phrase sometimes where you'd see a Proverb video, where he was. Like way back in the day, where he was one of the contestants and shit, looking raggedy.
Oh, I thought you meant as a presenter.
No.
He
He
was
was a
never
presenter. He was one of the. He got a gem blaster as well. He was one of those guys that got a gem blaster and everything. And he performed. He rapped there as well. Still, but I mean, this was probably when he was still like young, a kid. I think at the time he was maybe like 17, 18.
Before covers moved to YouTube, man, they used to be on Jam Alley.
Bro,
think about it, eh?
Bro, yeah. Come to think of it.
Yeah,
Come
to be
to
on
think
Jam
of
Alley.
it, yeah, man. So. That's what's up there. Big ups to big ups. I meant to say rest in peace, but big ups as well to her for the contribution that she gave.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Big ups to all the black women in the industry driving it forward.
Yes.
So effectively.
Yes.
And
we need y'all in comedy now.
Breaking barriers.
We need y'all in comedy, please. Women, black women, we need y'all in comedy. Come through with the jokes. Y'all got stories for days. We need y'all to come out. You can't always be going to these shows and sausage fest every day, man. Nah.
Yeah,
come
that's
through.
true.
Come
Hey,
through.
that's true. Hey, it's
Come
actually
through.
very lopsided, and I wonder why that is. You know.
No, we need women in this space.
I wonder
man.
why that is.
We
Because
need
I
women
literally
in this
only
space.
know Tumi, Arlene.
Kate Pinchuk.
I mean, I know I meant women of color.
Oh, women of Pinchuk. Women of Pinchuk.
Hey,
women of Pinchuk. Oh, this is women. Okay, but women
And
of
it's
color.
just
Yes.
those two. Who else do you know?
To me, are
Oh,
you talking
Mira.
in Cape Town?
No, Mira, obviously.
as well. Okay, talking in Cape Town. To me, but to me now she left Cape Town. So I don't know if she moved back.
She's
or
here
she left.
right now, currently.
Yeah. And then Mira. We did mention Mira, Arlene. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else.
You know?
There was Pink Tea, but she never really did her thing. Like she would feature. She did one of the Mowbray shows.
I remember her.
And then she just like disappeared. And she was kind of funny. I liked her shit. She was really
She's
funny.
very different, which is what you know, sometimes I think we don't know the value of novelty because she was valuable just because she was coming from such a different,
and of
just
course
like with a different perspective.
in the bigger spaces you have also listened to Leo Tumimorake, who's also left the country now. You have Kanyisabu.
Kanyisabu.
Yes, we have her. Yeah, man, we need more, man. We need more. So please,
one shouldn't be hard pressed making a list of 10. You know.
Yeah.
One shouldn't be hard pressed making a list of 10.
At least we need the funny ha-has because hey, man.
And we need the stories in fact because you know as comedians what we actually are is we orators. And so if what we are is we're transferring stories and narratives. And so it can't be
one-sided the whole time.
It's dangerous for it to be.
Just want to check out how much time we're running on because this thing sometimes does weird things. Okay, we're 9 minutes, so we still got 2 more minutes left, so I can quickly do like a 2-minute vibe. Don't worry, this is our show. These little breaking transmissions that happen is because.
And I mean, if it doesn't feel right, we'll just edit it out, and you'll never know it existed.
Yeah, to these 2 men. Yeah, we need a lot more. We need a lot more to change the space. And also for women that want to get in the space to not feel intimidated or like you feel like they imposters, because the more they see women playing in that space, the more they would want to come out and actually participate. So that's why. So one of the reasons why I feel women need to grow in the comedy space as well.
True. Now, I guess it'll happen with time. We'll have to see.
Zwagalan. There was something else that you wanted to talk about. In terms of what was happening with the Zondo Commission and everything.
Oh, yeah. I was going to talk about, so very sneaky tactic by Jacob Zuma. Basically, in the end, saying, but Judge, you're my friend. After hiring the dude. And making him, the head inquisitor in this whole charade. And in the final hour, when he has to go up and answer some questions, he's like, nah. I know there's a conflict of interest here. You are my friend. We can't do this. It's like, when you're watching porn.
Okay. We just got from Jacob Zuma to porn.
No, listen. They'll have I don't know what's with porn these days, but they'll have these weird titles. Like family titles.
Yeah, family. Yeah,
I don't know what's with that. Now imagine you got that family title and you watch the whole thing and it happens, and then in the end they're like, "But we're family." That's exactly what Jacob Zuma's doing.
I want this section to actually get its proper timing. So we're gonna pick this up in like a few seconds. Continuing this conversation that we're having with Dr. Jacob Zuma and his play in the Zondo Commission. On the next segment with myself, Obakeng Moroe and Kwanda Ndoda on the EasyJust podcast.
Yes.
Back at it again. EasyJust segment number something 3 after the image that you just saw. We are back at it. Myself, Kwanda Ndoda, and Obakeng Moroe. As you see, we are interchanging names every time. So when he leaves today, he's gonna leave with my ID. That's just how it works. So yeah, man. Picking it up from the last story that we were talking about with regards to the Zondos.
Yeah. So
and then
and
Ubab Zuma.
Ubab Zuma. So dude is like, nah, we friends, bro. Dude is like, nah, bro, I don't know you like that. And dude is like, nah, bro, but what about that time? He's like, nah, bro. And then Kengogo eventually, the judge is like, no, you know what? I don't know you like that. Peace. Stop fronting on me. And then Kengogo Zuma's like, oh, it's like that. Deuces.
You gonna
bounces.
So he was like, you gonna do me like this, bro? You gonna do me like this, bro?
So he's like,
He's like, oh, after all the deals that I gave you, I put you on that chair as a judge. Now nguwelo. So this you now. So this you. Nguwelo actually.
But the interesting thing though, Obakeng, is that in his statement when he was making it the judge, just saying that, we're not cool like that, we're not homies, get off my dick. When he was saying that, he basically didn't mention that he has a child with, I think, the sister of one of his wives, the president's wives. Now, an argument can be made that if you're going to marry everybody,
might as well.
Then obviously I'm going to have a child with somebody linked to somebody. If you're going to have 7 wives.
Hey.
But at the end of the day, it is one of his wives. I mean, I don't know if you want to grade it from wife number 1 to wife number 7, or even if it's correct to do so. But but the important thing is that the judge didn't mention that as part of the, the eye on the conflict of interest.
He didn't mention the fact that he was creeping.
Basically. But I mean, also, he was creeping like 30 years ago, so he was creeping different.
Hey, man, there's no statute of limitations on creeping,
Especially if there's a child involved,
exactly.
Right?
There is no statute of limitations. If you were creeping, you were creepy. Well, remember, even if it's 30 years ago and there's a child involved,
No, it's true.
It's a clear-cut case of manyonyoba.
So it makes you wonder why he didn't mention that in his statement, If you're saying we're not friends, you should qualify it by saying, yeah, I tapped that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we friends.
He was just like, basically...
But he omitted it.
Uzuma at the point was like, basically, wena udlamanya madoda itende.
Basically,
manipumaga nje. When uyangena.
Exactly.
So the judge was umanyonyoba, basically.
Yeah. And the worst part is that he didn't then, say that in his statement. So I don't know if the Zuma people have a leg to stand on. I mean, look, if it wasn't lawyers deliberating this thing, I think it would be pretty clear. Because we can all see that this guy is biding his time because he doesn't actually want to answer the questions. But I think it's because lawyers are having to deal with lawyers delaying and then saying it in lawyer language, makes the delaying legitimate. Does that
the,
make sense?
The tactics.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's only legitimate because it's lawyers using the tactics with lawyers. So they all sit in a room together and say that, okay, this is what I've done. And the other lawyers, I mean, the ones getting on the state's part, on the judge's, side, they accept it because they know that it is actual conduct of lawyers to behave in the way that Zuma's lawyers are behaving. Because if we were looking at it from an ethical perspective, I mean, if they would bring me in there, who's not a lawyer,
at all,
I'd come up in there and say, no. This one is taking us for a pop. This one is taking us for a pop. You know what I'm saying? Because it's clear that he is, right? Yeah. But because they're saying it in this lawyer language and they're together in a room and they're lawyers,
it's all just delay tactics, man.
Yeah.
It's all just because the law profession does that a lot. It's all just delay tactics so they can go back and sort of convene, you know what I mean? And try to steer everything in a different direction that it shouldn't go.
Yeah,
in. That's all.
And I guess to them, at the end of the day, it's more money for the industry, even if it's money for another company or another. It's money for another lawyer. It's driving, our agenda forward as people that speak on behalf of other people in cases like this and in things that that have to do with the law.
Yeah, man.
And I think for the most part, it's an abuse of power for them to do something like that. We can see, and it's in everybody's interest that this guy answers the questions, but then we'll let him do these delay tactics that we can all see are delay tactics. So why isn't anybody saying, hey man, I think this guy's actually delaying, so why aren't we making sure that he actually
it takes say Goele, the driver's ready to go, but the driver that's supposed to go, now he's out there making as if he's looking for change. Meanwhile, he has change in the cabbie hole. Ne?
Exactly.
He has change in the cabbie hole. The calculator's there. The guy that sits in the front seat that's supposed to count the money is already there. The Vulavala is already there sitting. The taxi is full. But driver doesn't want to move. Exactly. And worst of all, there's no other taxis in front that you can say are stopping him. He's right in front of the line there in the taxi rank. He's supposed to just leave.
Yeah.
But Nele out is just uplomil.
He's holding everything up.
He's holding everything back.
We're like, it's fine.
No,
so it's actually not fine.
No, it isn't, because now we want answers. We want to get to our destinations basically without.
And you know what? If you want people to stop doing crimes, show people becoming accountable to the crimes that we all think that they've done. Now I agree that it's not proven, but make it such that it's proven. If we all have a really strong hunch that it's a certain kind of way. Now I understand that. He might say he's not the king of corruption, and all of these people are like, creating a certain narrative that makes him seem guilty. But my man, if I walked in here and there were 5 people here saying, "Woo, Obakeng, man, it was a great orgy," and they each walk out and they're like, "Yes, man, I need to come again for another one of these orgies." And another guy's like, "Yo, Obakeng, remember when it was hanging out? Man, it was a great orgy." And
I think I popped like 3 Viagras that time.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, man, and then I'm like, "Obakeng, what have you been doing?" "Nah, I've been doing nothing the whole day." You know what I'm saying? So it hasn't been proven to me that you've been having orgies, but I have good reason.
Proof.
I have good reason.
Condom wraps are all over the space.
At least we must have we must clean out your place and look for wet spots.
Some things. There's something there. If forensic was to come in, all they see is just like spots, everywhere.
But no, when your lawyer comes and says, it wasn't an orgy.
Was at church.
Yes, they were all naked. Yes, they were all around.
It was for all we know, because that's lawyers. For all we know, it could have just been hot. And they decided to sit there without clothes on because the temperature was insufferable. There was no orgy happening.
Do you know what? When I was in high school, I thought of becoming a lawyer. It's one of the things that I thought of a lot in terms of what I wanted to go into. And I just couldn't do it in the end because I just felt like, you know what? It is just such a difficult line to walk in terms of ethics and morals, I think, in that profession. I think it's difficult keeping your moralities all the way. I think it's difficult keeping your ethics all the way all the time.
Yep.
In that, because you think of like Zuma's lawyer and it makes you think, is he doing what he's doing because he wants to preserve the rights of the individual in the South African law frame? Does he really feel like that he wants to protect this man? Or is he doing it because he's getting paid? He's getting paid and his client wants him to do a certain thing and so he's going to do that for his client. But it's not really great for the Rainbow Nation, for democracy going forward. Is it? It's not. I think it's not if we all feel somebody should be held accountable and they're not being held accountable.
Great lawyers always kind of operate from that space of, facts, not feelings.
Yeah.
Sway the law and not your moral. So And it's a very difficult stance to take where now you have to exclude your own morals.
Yeah.
And having because and being a lawyer, you're always
That's
gonna
like
be
P Diddy not giving the locks their royalties.
Basic. So in that same fray, like you as a lawyer, you're always gonna be. You're never gonna always be on the right side where you're pushing the right things. You're gonna be on either or. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna be either, and that's just the law. It means you argue two sides.
And sometimes you'll be on the wrong side and know you're on the wrong side, but have to argue for that side.
Yep. So
literally being the devil's advocate.
And my guy, hoo-ah. If you don't know where that reference comes from, come on.
It's obviously Busta Rhymes.
Yes.
Featuring
Al Pacino.
Yes.
In fact, Busta Rhymes bit it from Al Pacino. And he became...
I actually didn't make that link. Do you think that that's really like...
No, I think Busta Rhymes just did it and then... I think Al Pacino definitely bit it from Busta Rhymes and goes...
Yeah, which one came first? I feel like Busta came...
Got you all in check.
I like that a lot. You should put that into a joke.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
You're gonna have to pick your audiences for that one.
Yeah. Hey.
But when you do get your tribe, it'll be enjoyed.
It will probably be it will work well in
like I enjoyed
American
it now
audience.
is what I mean. I very much enjoyed it.
But you're familiar with the things with him and everything. It will work. It will work more in a cosmopolitan space, or maybe like if I was to go to America. And then
I think in Joburg.
Joburg, yes. America as well. Even here in Cape Town, in some spaces, it would definitely work.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, man. I don't know. Do you want to elaborate still on that story?
Nah. I mean, I think it'll just make me sad. And I think we give politics enough airtime.
Yeah.
On the show. I wanted to talk about Kevin Hart special.
Yeah.
That I watched. Did you watch it?
I did, and I also think it deserves like a proper time because we are on 11 minutes right now. So let's close off with that. Let's close off with the Kevin Hart special because I really want us to talk about that. That's actually a really good one. But just ending off on the Zondo Commission thing. I think it's still another case of
we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah, man. EasyJust episode 3. We're still in this. Myself, Obakeng Moroe, and Kwanda and Ndoda. See you in the next one. We're talking about Kevin Hart.
And his new special.
Back at it again.
In his house.
Zero fucks given.
And his very expensive pajama clothes. Asa.
Yeah, no. Definitely need a clap. But back at it again. Segment 3.
What up, though?
Where we are out here talking about Mr. Zero Fucks Given himself.
Yes, Kevin Hart's new special.
Mr. Kevin Hart.
On Netflix.
If you haven't watched that special, go and watch that special. What did you think?
I thought it was really, 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 really funny. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, man.
I really enjoyed it from beginning to end. I thought it was funny. I thought it was original. I thought he was telling us how rich he is, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed that.
You could see how rich, like you, man.
That was honesty for me.
Yeah, like be serious about your goddamn money.
Yeah, for me that was honesty. I felt like he was
dog.
He was not being wholesome and family friendly, which is how I've known him to be, and that's what's bored me with him now, because I'm never really a fan of dressing up what you want to say what you're saying to more people. I think that is disingenuous. Say what you want to say, and if your crowd is smaller, stick with that crowd, because those are the people that are writing for your actual message.
And that are there for you.
That are actually there for you, because that's the actual you, right? And so for me, so that was always taking away points from the way that the man did his thing. But I at the same time, I also gave it props in that he was the opposite of his dear friend, dude that died of diabetes. He was the opposite of that
Patrice
dude.
O'Neal.
Yeah, but they got their stripes together, right? With all the shows that they were doing on TV,
Patrice
whatever.
O'Neal, yeah.
But he was the opposite of Patrice O'Neal,
Yes.
right? Patrice
Yes.
O'Neal is no holds barred, tells it like it is,
That
makes
was
you
his-
uncomfortable before he makes you laugh.
Yeah.
But Kevin Hart was the opposite, makes you comfortable from the get-go, will never talk about the really controversial topics, and if he does, it's on a very lighthearted note.
But maybe that's I think that could have just been who Kevin Hart was, don't you think? Because a lot of where comedy comes from, this is my thing. A lot of where comedy comes from your actual stance when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean?
True.
Because I think, for
agree,
example,
I
I
agree.
think I'm kind of like that. I'm more a Kevin Hart than I am a Patrice O'Neal in terms of comedy. You know what I mean? Because it just comes from where you are and what your actual opinion is, or what your stance is on those topics. Maybe you engage with it, but you engage with it in a more of a lighter sense, where people that would actually push the boundaries are more invested in those topics than others. Like, for example, I don't really talk about politics in my comedy. The only reason why I don't really talk about politics is because I'm not invested in politics. I don't follow politics. I don't. So it's not part of my makeup. You know what I mean? And I think Kevin Hart is that kind of comic where he talks about palatable things. He talks about family. He talks about whatever his experiences were when they were going somewhere about his kids. Maybe that's just his comedy, don't you think?
No, I agree with you, and no, you're shedding some light for me because Nyani, that is what you're saying is true. And I was watching the Daily Show where Trevor was interviewing Kevin, and he alluded that it's because of the crash and his new perspective on things and his fearlessness in terms of losing everything that he has now that has made him take the stance. And so, yeah, I mean, sure. I guess what I was really saying in the end is that that's the reason I enjoyed this more than anything he's ever done before. And I guess when I say that, for me, that's what takes away the points from him. It makes me sound as if I don't like that particular kind of comedy. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I will always watch somebody that's more political or more jarring in what they're saying instead of that. And that's just my taste.
And that's okay, because all of us can't be that. You know what I'm saying? We can't be we all can't be like shock jocks or whatever you want to call it. We all can't be that. There are people whose personality, because a lot of that also comes from personality. There's a lot of people whose personality sort of leans towards that, and there's people who aren't, and that's where the balancing of the scale comes in.
That's the light that you just shed to me now. Yeah, that's definitely.
But what I liked about this special also, man, it was just honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart at home, and just expressing who he has become in obviously through COVID and everything else, but who he has become in his life now. You know what I mean? It kind of reminded me a little bit of Tambourine, but also Tambourine from Chris Rock you could see that was a broken man. A little bit, you know? Kevin Hart is a family man that is just trying to...
That's interesting that you say that, because Tambourine did have like I don't want to say morbid or macabre, but it did have a sadness to it.
It wasn't the
but
Chris
Kevin's,
Rock that we
but
know.
no, I didn't get that from Kevin.
No. But I'm just saying in terms of where these guys are in their lives and what they tend to speak about. Because, I mean, Chris Rock back in the day, he would bring controversial topics up. You know, he would talk a little bit about politics here and there. But he will also do the big piece of chicken. You know what I'm saying? This was Chris Rock. You know? Robitussin, the big piece of chicken. But now he stopped doing that. And then I think this is with Tambourine, this was the first time we were seeing Chris Rock just being Chris Rock without trying to put an act on, because a lot of his stuff had the act on. You know what I mean? And then Kevin Hart now, I felt in this special, I felt more Kevin Hart than Kevin Hart trying to be, you know, the comedian, the you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He did have that for me, but that wasn't never the crux of the joke in anything that he did. It was almost like just a part of the build up, or and as you said, like it's just how he does. He probably does that at breakfast with his family. You know, those kind of voices and those other if I'm understanding you properly, the extra theatrical stuff that he would
Yeah.
he would almost bank on for his jokes, but he certainly
No.
didn't. Yeah, like
I love
he
that.
didn't bank on it for these jokes.
I love it there's a part where he talks about women and he goes, women are always looking for give a fucks.
Yeah.
You're looking for a give a fuck.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm leaving. Okay. And it's probably gonna be men out there. Okay, do you, boo?
Yeah.
I love that special. A lot of comedians were giving it flack online.
Really?
I saw
What was
some
the
comics giving
general
it
consensus?
flack online. They were like, it's not funny. It's the same old bullshit. It's not funny. They felt like Kevin lost his edge. It felt like he was just I don't know, showing off his house or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? There was a lot of mixed emotions. I watched that special and I was just like, this is a guy that is just honest about his fucking feelings and where he's at. And he is very much devoted to his family. And you could hear that from the past few, even Irresponsible, it was a lot about his family. You know what I mean? And him, like the cheating scandal, I think, whatever, that made part of the jokes and everything. And now he was talking about, like, you know, coming of age, post-COVID. He says he had COVID. And then mostly talking about his family again. That's just where this man's life is. This is where his main, the bulk of his time he spends there. So what else do you expect him to talk about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you. And in a sense, for me, I feel like after Sticks and Stones, he couldn't, I think, in the right mind, still adhere to like being a PC as he was before. So I think with the climate that's created, but what Dave achieved in terms of the awards, in terms of the reception, in terms of being the voice that says, you know, you can't... PC is important in that it protects the most vulnerable a lot of the times. That's why PC exists, you know, being politically correct. But in the field of comedy, it needs to be looked at in a different lens. And so I think with that, he wouldn't... I mean, I just think... Yeah, you know, as an artist, you always have to reinvent yourself also. So if you take together the having to reinvent yourself because you're bringing out a new special and the climate that's been created by Dave Chappelle's specials, and you are like the other guy that everybody knows, you're like the Drake of comedy. You can release the hits, but you don't really release classics.
Classics, yes.
And so you have to adhere to the climate somewhat because you're not I don't want to say you're not a trendsetter, but you don't drop classics, bro.
No, but and also like this culture that PC has created, it's gotten to a point where it's now not about being correct, but it's about completely silencing people, and you cannot do that in any field because you can't do that to comedy because comedy is the one art form that will directly challenge the stupidity and the realness and the weirdness out of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now if you're trying to silence people by not allowing them to say certain things because it's hurting this very like frivolous thing called your fucking feelings, grow the fuck up. You know what I mean? Comedy for me is to show you that the world is not perfect. The world is not friendly. The world does not give a shit about your fucking feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So feelings will be hurt. I'm not saying people shouldn't be mindful of the fact that certain things like they hurt, like, you know, whether it's racism, whether it's whatever it is. But the fact that they hurt, the fact that they are controversial, the fact that they are uncomfortable doesn't mean they shouldn't be spoken about. Because now this whole PC thing has created worlds that people in general, comedians now as more especially, are not too allowed to talk about anything because when you joke, you are making a mockery of. And I completely disagree with that because I think when you are making a joke, you actually have a valid observation of whatever it is that you're talking about, and it has to be spoken about. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And I think in that sense, yeah, man. I mean, it makes sense that he made the special the way that he made it. It's very interesting, though, that, you know, he has so much to lose for what he's done. But I don't think that you'll see... So I think in a sense for him, it's actually a very strategic thing if he takes on this persona or in this branch of how he wants to do his comedy, being raw, saying the things the way, zero fucks given, basically, it gives him the opportunity to kind of sift through his business connections. In the sense that he's only going to keep his ride or die.
Yeah.
He will only keep people that know that Kevin says this is like this. And so if our target market works for that, then we're riding with Kevin, no matter what he says. And then what that does for him is that it actually gives him sustainability.
That's what I was about to say, that kind of thing where you actually know you've sifted through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And you actually know who are the people that would ride with you no matter what. And regardless of what everybody else say, they will always be there to support your career. Then you know that you're set.
Yeah.
People like Dave have done that a long time ago.
True.
You know what I mean?
So true.
Long,
Yeah.
That's why
he basically had to begin from that,
yeah, keep going.
You know, from the time his career stopped, he had to build from that perspective. You know, because he was a pariah.
What? He was what?
A pariah.
What's a pariah? There you come with your big English.
A pariah is somebody that I'm sure Arlene is taking a shot somewhere. Because you're not in the group, so she says that she every time I say a big word, she takes a shot.
Yeah. So
a pariah is somebody that is kind of that people don't want to do business with, people don't want to be associated with, an outcast of sorts.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess when we're speaking about Dave, he became that kind of person, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he established a long time ago that he was always going to talk about the most uncomfortable things. And you have no choice but to listen to it, because a lot of why he got the following that he has, not only because he's good, it's because most of that shit is true.
Yeah, man.
And it's fucking funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's and
come get some nigga lessons.
You know.
Come on. I mean, come on.
And one of my favorite quotes from his is like he says,
"How old is 15 really?"
Yeah.
One of my favorite from Dave Chappelle. How old is 15 really?
I can't remember that. About R. Kelly.
We were talking about R. Kelly and the difference between a white 15-year-old girl and a black 15-year-old girl. So this black 15-year-old girl was kidnapped but managed to chew through the ropes and get home. White 15-year-old girl was kidnapped and taken like 3 blocks away from her home. And, you know, guys left the door open and she didn't leave. You know, she just stayed there.
I think I remember that.
They were both 15.
How old is 15
really? And then
what
obviously,
does 5 fingers say to the face?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, but talking about this whole thing, like, you know, with Dave and Kevin, Andrew Schultz is also another one that does his comedy no fucks given, goes into it, and that's how he blew up, like
hooker like a bass,
basically, like not giving a fuck about the silencers. And so many people followed him because they wanted to hear what he has to say, and he's cack funny. Yeah. I'm one of those people that followed him and wanted to hear, and I found him to be very funny. And he sort of kind of grew a cult following that became that catapulted him into, you know, a mainstream comedian now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bill Burr, another one that always says some fucked up shit.
One of my favorites, I think,
Bill
of
fucking Burr.
all time.
You know what I mean?
Every time I think of my top 5, I don't put Burr in, but I always think, but so unique.
Fam. Angry white man.
Yeah, you know, who would have thought? Who would have thought Angry White Man works?
Man.
I mean, Angry Any profile probably works, you know, as if you do it right. But for him, I think it's maybe the most difficult being the Angry White Man, because in white scenario or white men, the victims almost no scenario.
Which is why he always turns that whole narrative on its head. But he
always manages to turn it in a way that makes it funny for everybody else. And yeah, I just think that he's an amazing writer. You know, like Paper Tiger for me was quite amazing.
Really, like it was a proper space. Like those 2 specials, Paper Tiger and Sticks and Stones, perfect specials. I think that, as you were saying, Kevin with his special now, he took the baton from that. Is it baton or baton? Whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Eh? It's bacon. Yeah. He took the bacon.
Took the bacon from that.
And then just ran with it. And I think this is where comedy needs to be. If you ask me, comedy needs to be in a space where we're like, you know what? We are not going to be silenced. We just have to be unapologetic and do the jokes regardless up until the cancel mob implodes. Laughs. Or
Until they
implodes.
laugh.
Or walks the fuck out. Until the point where nobody cares. Because one, they're imploding so much now that they end up fighting amongst themselves that nobody actually fucking cares anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's not so... I mean, it's not so bad here.
No, it isn't. But in America, it's very bad.
But America, it has to be that bad because in America, there's Hollywood.
Yeah, but we're getting a lot of it still kind of trickles down here somehow.
But it must trickle down. I think it's necessary so that we don't become a Hollywood teen.
We'll never become a Hollywood. We'll always have our own thing. I don't
know if you think of the if you think of the infrastructure, there's still how can I say this? Infrastructure is still leaning towards there's a whole like studios and people that make movies. Do you think it's black people that make movies up in South Africa?
Yes, I think there are some.
There are some, but you see, but it's a good thing that we didn't become a nation where it's just the people with a whole lot of money that are still making the movies and excluding people, especially if they're excluding people on the basis of like race or when you're feeling like this is not going to fit with the demographic or those kind of things. So that's what happened to Hollywood, and then that stemmed the whole Me Too movement and giving those people such a whole lot of power, the wrong people all the power. And so I think PC definitely worked in that regard because all of those guys went to jail and the guys that didn't go to jail are now acting right and everybody's getting to make different movies and we're getting to hear different stories, different perspectives and different narratives, which is changing everybody's minds about everything.
No, that is true. I completely agree with you in that regard. But now... If anybody has any kind of concern or anything to say, allow them to say it so that it's whatever is uncomfortable about it. You know what I mean? Whatever is uncomfortable 100%. About it has to be sort of dealt with and balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to be dealt with and balanced. Because the minute you start silencing people, don't think that whatever it is that you're silencing is not said where you are not, where you don't exist. It's said. So rather let people say what they're going to say so that you know exactly who you're dealing with and you know the truth of the people that you live amongst. And you can also like have your perspectives changed because now I think we're losing out on great stories, on great
I agree.
On you know what I mean, on great jokes, on great performances, on great because
great
everybody
feelings
now because everybody now is trying to pander to not piss somebody off, and the people that are being pissed off are people that don't fucking matter, man.
You know
what I mean? It's true, people that really don't even have a voice or any kind of opinion on anything. They just jump on bandwagons, and now it's become fashionable to destroy people's careers based on like a joke.
No, I agree.
You know
with
what I'm saying?
I definitely think that when it comes to comedy, it should be no holds barred.
Yes.
You know, it should be that somebody can say whatever they want to say, because whatever somebody says should not upset you so much that you must now take a gun or a knife or act violently or do whatever. If anything, if somebody says something that really makes you feel a certain kind of way, then you should just say something back.
Exactly. And we will be able to now sift between
and at the end of the day,
good comedians and not so good. How do you How else do you know if somebody is good or bad? How else do you know if somebody is racist or not? How else do you know if somebody has a warped sense of understanding when it comes to issues around whatever gender, around race, around whatever it is that is an uncomfortable thing, disabilities, whatever it is that makes people. How else do you know where people stand if they don't say anything? Because we're gonna end up building a world where nobody says anything.
Exactly, but I mean the feelings don't stop. So the person that feels a certain kind of way about a certain gender, feels a certain kind of way about a certain ability or disability, feels a certain way about a certain people or a certain generation or a certain profile, they still feel that way. The worst part is now nobody knows that they feel that way. And so it's this thing that's left unsaid but still determines how people act. At least when people are allowed to say it, it's out in the air, and then somebody has the opportunity to either say that in a way that helps that person change their perspective, or adds something to them so that they can then carry on with their lives differently. But there's no opportunity to do that if people aren't allowed to say it.
That's the thing, perspective, because everyone has a certain type of opinion or perspective on things, and perspective can be changed. Because if you don't understand, like for example, if you don't understand why certain things are hurtful, but you're not given a chance to say them, or when you don't say them, there's not a chance to for your perspective to be changed, for somebody to correct you, then you will never know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You will never know. Like I remember this one time where I was at gym and this kid he just all of a sudden called me a coconut.
Oh, I thought that you were going to say the other
No. He called me. But
I was going to say at the boxing gym?
And you can see, and I was like, and he expected that for me to be a joke. And I was like, why do you think that's funny? You know what I mean? Because he's young. So he obviously hangs around other white people that probably say that stuff. And maybe there's other black friends of his that probably just take that thing and laugh. They just laugh at that whole coconut phrase, and he thinks it's all good. Now he sees me in the gym, a well-spoken black guy, and he thinks because I sound like his friends, it's okay for him to say that shit to me. You know what I mean? But he said that to me, and I was like, why do you think it's okay for you to say that to me? Do you actually know how racist that thing is? And he was flabbergasted because he didn't perceive it as being racist, because nobody has ever called him out on that bullshit. You know what I mean? And I explained to him, I was like, what you're actually saying is that because I speak a certain way, I'm pandering to being white. That's what you're saying. So what you're saying is you are invalidating the fact that black people are just intelligent by just being themselves. You know what I mean? That's what that whole coconut thing, that's why it's so racist. And it was like, yo, man, I never thought of it like that. I just thought it's some casual thing that's just being said because when you speak a certain way as a black person, you know, you brown on the outside, white on the inside, you know what I mean? And it was such an ignorant thing. And I was like, yo, man, don't say that shit. One, if it was somebody else, you could have caught a beating right now, but I'm not a violent motherfucker. You know what I mean? So, but had he not said that, he wouldn't have known that that's some bullshit to say.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So in the same sense with comedy and with everything else, if you don't allow people to say the wrong things, they don't know that they think, and they don't know why it's wrong. Because now when you get to a space where you understand why something is wrong, or you can, and also you can challenge why, you can challenge you can challenge that argument as well. But you actually get in a space where you get to understand why you shouldn't say some things, but you should be allowed to say them anyway.
That's true. You know,
what
even
I mean?
for me, I never thought of coconut as a very offensive term, yes?
But I honestly don't like it.
But I know I can totally understand your perspective of and you explained it quite clearly why it's offensive. And it's everything that you said is true. I guess for me, the idea of pandering to whiteness is something that I quite accept because I do pander a lot to whiteness. I mean, and we do actually.
Yeah, we do.
With English, you are doing it. You know, one can almost say mostly through English, okay? Because I mean, what other things make you?
No. It's mostly it's. I think it's only through
and
English
maybe
because
it's
of
not
because of
whiteness,
because of.
eh?
I don't think it's whiteness. I honestly don't think, because even the way we speak as black people, when we speak English, we don't speak English to sound like white people. We speak English the way we speak English. I don't think so. I don't think we pander. I don't think we're trying to sound like white people. I think it's a communication mechanism. It's a language that becomes the what do you call it? There's a nice little English word for it, but the equalizer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now we are in this multi. I even forgot that we think. But as I'm saying, I'll pick up now. We are in this multicultural space where we speak so many different languages. We are heavily divided. Matswana, Basotho, Maxhosa. Not everybody understands everybody. So English, for me, it honestly just became an equalizer in terms of language. And then also the education that we were dealt here, the way we were taught. We were taught in mainly we were taught in English. We were taught in English medium schools, varsities. So there's actually a systematic pandering to whiteness, basically. But I don't think we use it that way. But it is a systematic pandering to whiteness. Yes, I'm not gonna argue that, because everything has been built around that system, which is why we end up being, now you being Xhosa, I'm being Setswana, we speak English between the two of us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that has to do with the history of the country and the progress of it, quote unquote,
and the success of colonialism.
The success of colonialism. You know what I mean? And this thing is not it's not just apparent in South Africa. It's apparent everywhere.
Do you know why I say that? It's because if somebody called me Ikopoka, I wouldn't be offended.
What's Ikopoka?
Ikopoka is just another term, like it's like coconut.
Like Model C.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a term that used to be used. So basically, back in the day, the Xhosas were one of the first people outside of the sand that the colonizers came across. And so then you basically had a differentiation in society where you either had umdobomvu or you had Ikopoka. So umdobomvu, and that comes from the red kind of, I think they call it like a sort of silt that we used to paint on our skin, right? Some of silt mixture. Anyways, so the red guys were the guys that were all about, you know what, I'm all about my culture. I'm all about, the way that we do things. I don't want to hear about a new religion. I especially don't want to hear about that nigga with the hair and the thing.
The blonde fuckboy.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about that. And then you had Amakopoga, and those are the guys that would be rocking up in a suit. They'd be the guys with a Bible in hand. They'd be the guys that were educated. So when they have places like Lovedale College, which is a college where chief's sons used to go study at, so if you were a prominent chief, you had a son and you wanted him to get some of this knowledge and technology that these white people were bringing, you'd send them to Lovedale College. And that brought about people like Abu Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Govan Mbeki. They all went through that, being sons of chiefs and going to these special colleges where they'd be taught how to be British aristocrats, And so you had Amakopoga and you had Abantu Ababomvu. And so that's what Ikopoga is. And so that's why I'm saying, it's basically the equivalent of a coconut then,
So it's learning to walk the walk, talk the talk. But then when you do understand how to navigate that space, you fight your cause in a way that they fucking understand, is what you're saying.
How do you mean?
Okay, so basically you learn how to speak English, how to conduct yourself a certain way in the British aristocrat way, but you also know what you're fighting for. So now when you get into that space,
I see what you mean.
Argue in a way and you fight against the system in a way that your oppressors basically understand, because you're playing their game now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because Mandela basically fought for the rights of black people, but then what did he used the educational systems that he was brought into to fight that fight. You know what I'm saying? So let's
Kwame Nkrumah also, Kwame Nkrumah also went through that, having to go be trained in Oxford or whatever and coming back to be the president of Ghana. So I agree with that, but I'm not just saying in terms of that's what Ikopoga is, and that's why I think the term coconut fits. And the reason why it's not offensive for me is because I see myself as Ikopoga most definitely.
Yeah. But now it's for that term then I understand, but the term coconut for me, why I find that one specifically racist is because the origins of it were never pure, like they were never pure. You know what I'm saying? The origins of that were always, if you are this kind of
flaky.
Like,
the origins were always flaky.
And when you were called a coconut, because they were actually saying you speak a certain way, you do certain things because you like being white. So you just appear as a black guy, but it is like innately you are doing everything to not be that, but you are trying to be white, and that's only because of the way you speak. And this is why accents and such a thing, we lean so much on those things in this country, because we attribute accents to intelligence, and also now intelligence back then was like sort of coupled to whiteness. You know what I'm saying? And it's just this really toxic fucking thread that I do not like about that term, because it says I'm denying the fact that I'm black, but because I speak a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I don't, because I don't deny the fact that I'm black just because I speak well. I don't. And white people don't deny, they just being, you know what I mean? So why would I don't want to be white. I'm not white. I don't pander to white. I don't want to be. So that's the one thing that annoyed me, because it made black people feel like they are denouncing their blackness because of an education system that was pretty much forced on us.
It's very interesting,
You know what I
that
mean?
you say that, because I wonder if in time our children's children, because, I don't think that there'll be a time when white people outnumber blacks in Africa.
No.
Or at least not in this country and not anywhere on the continent. I wonder if it'll get to a point where white people are feeling that way, because I think of Kostatich. Kostatich is the opposite of a coconut, but he's really behaving in like a coconut. You know who Kostatich is?
The rapper.
Yeah, the rapper.
I don't really know. I don't follow him that much, so I don't really know his behavior.
But to rapper ngeSzulu, ngeStswana, he's basically, I'm sure he's just like a black kid, actually, but he's just white.
Yeah.
But he's actually just a regular kid.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm saying that that's so interesting is that he is having to pander to blackness in order to make a living.
Okay.
Now, maybe you could say it's a matter of semantics. One could say, he's just using his social capital. What if his friends are black? What if all of his family is, he's white, but, he grew up like that? But somebody could easily say, I perceive it as him pandering to whiteness, much in the same way someone could say you speaking English is pandering to blackness.
Yeah, of course. And that will always be the case. It will always appear like that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have said that about Unina Hasty as well.
Yeah, and I think it'll be like that in the future. It's a good future. I think it's a good future.
It's a good future, yes. But is there a derogatory term for that comes from white people? Who when they see a white person behaving like that, quote unquote pandering to blackness, they call him a certain thing? Because coconut is very much for black people, but is there something like, I'm not trying to invent one, but
yeah, but now the thing is, I can't think of a food that's white on the outside and brown on the inside. Can you think of a food?
I can't think of a food that's white.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Maybe we could call them Easter eggs. Maybe we can call them Easter eggs.
Outside.
Because they white on the inside.
White on the inside.
Yeah. Maybe we can call them Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. There we go. That's funny, but it doesn't sound offensive.
A coconut doesn't sound offensive.
I know, but yeah,
unless you don't like coconut flavored stuff.
Hey, man, that's
like my girlfriend.
You know what's worse is I
love coconut.
I love coconuts, man. I love coconuts.
Do you even love it when there's got like a pastry and it's got like coconut flakes around it?
Bro. I even use coconut scented lotion. That's how much I love coconut.
Just to get you ready for breakfast after you shower.
You see, my guy. Shit, the card is full. Fuck, I didn't even notice now. So I think we are probably now in that phase of the podcast where you see.
Is it still recording, God?
No, it's full. So we actually gonna have to do our goodbyes after this one. So because I have to change the card.
Have to empty the stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna empty the stuff. But we're gonna come back and finish off where we were, and then close it off because I think we have enough material for the podcast and it's been fun.
It's that Zizi. Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
What the fuck was that?
That was Rick Ross on Stay Scheming.
Oh, is that Stay Scheming or Rick Ross joint?
Rick Ross and Drake and French Montana.
Okay. I remember that chorus, but I couldn't remember for the life of me who it was. But yeah, man. We back at it. EasyJust podcast. Last segment. Myself, Obakeng Moroe, Kwanda Ndoda, sitting here with his Vasco da Gama vest. You're probably wondering when did he move from the Dickies to this? Yeah.
At least it's not a wife beater.
What is it? A girlfriend beater?
No.
No, this is
a wife pleaser.
No, this is an unemployed nigga vest. You know what you need right now?
Give me a job, please.
All you need right now is sliders, like flops.
Yeah, like
flops,
pink ones.
Pink flops. Or the ones that
pink flops so that everybody knows they're not mine. What if with guys that wear pink flops and you're like, bro, just go give them back.
Or you know those guys that will wear their girlfriend slippers.
Exactly. And I do that so much.
But at least you're not unemployed, so yeah. There we go. I forgot where we were now before we closed off this topic. Like when we had to cut. Excuse the little technical glitch that still starting this thing. All these things are gonna as we progress in this in this podcast. They're all going to be alleviated, and we're gonna have a proper long form show for you without any of these like breaks and stuff, because we have to progress to that point.
Yeah, before we do a live show, that's for sure.
Yeah, no damn doubt. Can't do a live show in 12-minute bursts. But yeah, man. I honestly forgot where we were.
Now I forgot. I'm trying to think.
We were talking about so many other. And we were talking about coconuts.
Yes, we had just found a term for.
Yeah. Oh, Easter eggs.
Nina
We were
Hasty.
talking about.
Actually found a term for
It made me remember one of those jokes that Easter egg joke.
Yes, I'm gonna actually do that joke tonight, because that's the joke about white people.
Yeah, man. But anyway,
But the joke is not what you think it is.
Yes. No, we got off on a tangent, but this has been fun, man. I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, man.
I enjoyed
At first,
this. I enjoyed
it
this.
seemed kind of daunting having to shoot these every weekend, but I think I'm looking forward to it as the weekends come, because it's very. It feels good, having the chats. It lets you recap on what's actually going on in your head.
Yeah.
And then you get to feed that off of somebody to you, so you get a little bit of that energy. Honestly, if I didn't have this to do, I probably would have played FIFA for the rest of the afternoon.
You see?
And
UFC.
Yes, that would have been fun, but it wouldn't have been. My brain wouldn't have worked as well as it did now. And I'm about to go on a show. I'm about to go open up some comedy at 7.
Oh, yeah.
So this definitely
Tiger
helps
Valley.
me get my mind in the right place in terms of improv and comedy. And
so when you get there, you're gonna be on that on this work buzz, and then you get there, you're gonna be flames.
Basically.
But yeah, man, this was fun. I really enjoyed this episode. So thank you to everybody, all the people, all the EasyJusters. We must just
all
just
the EasyJusters out there. I like that.
We must find a name for the people, the EasyJusters. You know what I mean? Don't forget, please subscribe to the channel at the bottom there, because we need these numbers. We're on some 20 something subscribers from the first episode, which is freaking amazing. I love that. Cool. We need to hit our first 100 subscribers soon, and I think we're gonna do that very soon. So please share the video, subscribe, let the people know. Follow me on Instagram. I'm Obakeng.Moroe on Instagram. Follow Kwanda Ndoda. He is
Kwanda Ndoda.
You're Andrew.
Oh, not on Instagram, on Twitter.
On Twitter, you're Kwanda Ndoda.
On Instagram, it is at Kwaymaster.
At Kwaymaster.
KWAYMASTE.
Yes. Follow the Kwaymaster. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, let's do this thing. Let's keep growing this family. Let's grow these numbers. Like, share, tell your friends about it. Tell everybody. Comment. Like, if you don't like Nakona, we don't care, because we're gonna keep doing this podcast despite of you non-like her.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, then let us know why. You know what I mean? Don't just like and fuck off.
Yeah, comment.
Comment. Let us know what's up. We like reading the negative comments, the positive comments, the constructive
or as they
criticism.
say in French, come on.
No, they don't say that in French.
They should.
They don't say that in French.
Look, if they're not,
fact, that's not even
they're
a
missing
word
out
in
on a
French.
total word that they could have.
That's not a word. It's never gonna
Come
be.
on.
No.
Come on.
Comment ça va? It sounds like you're saying. It sounds like you're an Italian guy trying to sound French. Come on, come on, man.
You just can't take Italian out of me.
You can't take Italian out of me. Italian. I'm Italian.
The paisano's
Italian. I'm Italian.
Paisano's
I'm
a paisano.
Italian. I'm Italian, bro. I mean, no, they don't say bro. I'm Italian. I'm trying with my Italian.
Yeah,
But
you're not Italian.
No.
Italian. That's the problem.
Italian.
That's the problem. The problem is that you're not an Italian. Italian.
I'm trying to sound like Rocky, man. I'm trying to sound like I do a very, very bad impression.
You just make sure
Yeah.
that you're talking like. Do you remember when Eddie Murphy had the PJs?
Oh yeah.
And he used to play on ETV. He used to talk like Rocky because his
Man
mouth
with
used
a
to
big
always
ass.
be looking at the side like that.
Man got a big ass. But
That was cool though, eh?
I remember
The
that
PJs.
that was really fun.
PJs was alright. I used to
Yeah.
like the homeless guy.
I can't remember the characters.
Yeah.
I can't remember the characters. But anyway, we'll talk about. And I think we actually need to have a show. We're gonna have the Kwaito show. We need to have a show where we talk about all these old shows that we don't see on TV anymore.
Oh yeah.
That would
Some
be-
nostalgia.
That would be some nostalgia shit. But anyway,
How about
thanks
Jim
for.
Ailey?
all of them. Middle Center, Bonkwishi, remember?
What's that, Hannah?
Was where it was a love story, man. With Matiti and stuff. Okay, maybe y'all didn't watch it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna think there's gonna be some divisions there
As
we break into the
one.
languages.
Ish, yeah, no, maybe you'll tell me about. I don't know. Kichima no man.
You know about Ikyala Lamawel?
Ikyala Lamawel.
But did you watch that? Because it had subtitles.
Yeah, we read the subtitles. Also, I could pick up.
What about the one where the milkman killed someone?
I don't know that one.
What was it called now?
I don't know.
There was one where the milkman did it.
Milk Meadows?
It was not called Milk Meadows. What was it called, no?
I don't know. Ikyala Lemelek.
Lemelek, eh? Ikyala Lemelek. Could it be?
Ikyala Lemelek.
I wonder what it was called. I forgot now.
I don't know. But we'll discuss. We'll do the research. We'll ask the SABC if there's still people. I watched that for days.
Yeah, that might have been the best sitcom the country has. That is the weekend special of sitcoms in South Africa.
Basically. And this is a very long sign off.
Yes, we're saying goodbye. Yeah, goodbye.